Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a brand new edition of Book Bites. We've been salivating with the lineup we have ahead, especially for this special Ramadan edition. So, a Ramadan Kareem to all of our viewers out there. It's day 3. I can't believe 3 days have just gone so quickly. I know that there's been plenty of reflection. We always tend to center Ramadan around reflection, but also about a kind of celebration of food. As much as Ramadan is about, to a degree, abstinence, reflection, and understanding what it means to have and not to have. Living in a country and on a continent where food security issues are a challenge, we also understand as Muslims the ability to share, the ability to show love through sustenance. And what better way than to welcome today's guest on the show, who is an absolutely beautiful, delightful human being who carries her energy through who she is as a person. And it's now been enacted in the form of, through her celebrations of sharing love through food, a beautiful new publication called Damn Good Food. We don't have the food on the show to share, but we definitely are going to pick the brain of Famida Osman Latif, brand name Fehmz, as we learn from her where this all began, how it came to be, and what this journey has been like for her. Assalamu alaikum, Famida. Wonderful to finally have a chance to have you on the show, and welcome to the first season of Ramadan Book Bites.
Wa alaikum assalam, Ramadan Kareem, and I am so excited to be here. I've been dying to get into Salam Media, so I'm super excited. And for it to be with you, who's a doyen in the book industry, I'm super excited. Super excited. Shukran for having me. And yes, day 3. Day 1 and 2 was a little rough, but alhamdulillah. Let's see how
Well,
it goes.
it's a particular delight, especially now to celebrate your book with you, because I mean, you're a brand unto yourself. You're a delight in the industry. You've shared so passionately your love for putting together the canvas of food and recipes, and everyone sort of waits for your next round. And now you've culminated in this book. Let's go back. Where did this all begin for you?
Where did social media begin, or where did cooking begin?
We can bring
I
it together. We can
I
definitely bring
think
the flavors and the
I think
tests
for me,
together.
I think for me, like the funny thing is that I think cooking is almost something that we kind of started with as kids. Like my parents were very much, my mom specifically was very much about how were we going to help her in the kitchen, help her with everything, see how things goes. But I think she got to a point where she was like, okay, how parents are like, clean as you go. My mother got tired of me not cleaning as I go. And funny enough, mommy, I'm back to that now. Now I do clean as I go. Now that I'm older and I realize. But my mom, she actually got tired of that part and she went, I need these girls to know how to make things, but I kind of not need to be there. I need to not be there because if I don't watch the process, then they're not going to really learn like what cooking is about. My mom would leave us. She'd leave us in the kitchen and she'd go, by the time I come back, I hope there's a meal. There better be a cake. There better be something. She would just give us an instruction and she'd say, I'm going out shopping. I'm going to some shop and I'm going to go shop for all my groceries. And by the time I come back, there's got to be something. And honestly, I think that kind of brought the love of cooking for us because we had the kitchen to ourselves. No pressure, no anything else. It was just the only pressure was to make sure there's food. But she would leave us open to anything, or she'd leave a recipe. My mom was big on saving recipes, on getting recipes from magazines, from all of those things. So she would say, here's a recipe, try this recipe out. And when I come back, I want to see what it tastes like. And I think that's really where it started. And I think social media kind of became the outlet. Like after I got married, I actually used to initially use social media to advertise my mocktails classes. I used to do a lot of mocktail classes and teach people how to make mocktails. And on our downtime, I used to just share what I used to make. And that's what all I used social media for. Like when you're married and you're making food every day, I'd share a picture of what I would make. And I really loved it. Like I really find like the way my mom taught us that, food can unite so many. It can bring you all around the table. The you must have dinner together situation. It really changes the way your family dynamic is a lot. And so I used to just share what we used to make. And then when when social media changed to video, I remember first like Instagram used to just be pictures. I was Instagram very long time ago, 2012. That's when I started on Instagram. And it was just pictures. And then they changed over because of Snapchat. They changed over to these stories because Snapchat used to be like 24-hour stories. And when Instagram introduced that, we started showing the process of how to make the meal, the product, the everything. And that, I promise you, it changed the game for me. Not just the way like people reacted to it. It was also the way like I found like this I like loved showing people how to make dishes. I didn't really just want to show them the end product. I wanted to show them how to get to that end product. Because we family style, we don't like plate beautifully and all that stuff. We put it in a bowl and we say, yeah, here's chicken curry and rice. But I think what I realized was people needed to know how to make it from start to finish. And for me, oh, game changer. I love doing it every single time. Every time I put my camera up, I'm like, yay, we are going to work with somebody. I just see myself as being in one person's kitchen. I'm with one person, and we're gonna cook these. We're gonna cook together, and we're gonna make this dish together. The only hard thing is obviously time. You have to cut everything down to about a minute and a half. I usually go up to about 3 minutes, but time is the hardest thing. So yes, it doesn't take 3 minutes to put the dish together, but I like to show people that it's not as like intimidating um, as it may seem. And I want to say, the more I cook, the more I love it.
It shows, right? It really shows
Oh,
in the way you present yourself, and it shows that you have this joy for putting together these canvases of food. And I think that's part of your magic,
listen,
because creating these recipes that aren't intimidating, that are nice and short, that even a beginner person, young or old, can actually follow your recipes so easily and not feel intimidated by bringing these items together is just amazing. Speak to us. I mean, you spoke about your childhood start off and how your mom
mm,
gave you free reign of the kitchen, which I think is
yes.
such a fantastic thing, right? Um, but speak to us about, I mean, just trying something new and not feeling anxiety about, am I going to flop this thing?
Funny enough, my mom was a big proponent of trying something new. So she had two sides of her. So you know how it is in most like South African Indian homes, spice and chili and everything. It's like part of our life. So my mother would be very much about keeping certain things the same, which now I've also veered away from, but also trying other things out. And she would always start it off with like baking or something like that. Now my mom, she didn't get to finish school. So she always told me that magazines was her school. She learned a lot from magazines. She would read cover to cover for a magazine. And part of those sections in every magazine, whether it was a You magazine, a Fair Lady, whatever, Garden and Home, would be the recipe section. And she would pull the recipes from that recipe section and say, hey, let's try this out. And I think that was it. My mom would always go like, "There's nothing wrong with trying it out." And she said, "If it comes out, if it flops, make a big scratch mark on that little page, and make sure you never try it again. But at least you have tried it. Because if a cake flops, turn it into trifle. You know what I mean? Like, do what you need to do. If something flops royally, it still can be bird food. You know what I mean? Just crumble it up and throw it out into the lawn and feed the birds. But at least
That's
try
amazing.
something. My
That's
mom
incredible.
hated wasting food, so I think the birds ate a lot of random things from our house.
That's incredible. And I think it actually can be transferred across to life lessons, right? Just try the thing, dive right into something you want to do, and
Hmm.
then make the best of it. And that's your,
And
your path to success.
the
I
funny enough
remember,
is that is the reason why I think I jump into other things. I think I'm just like, I'll just try it, and if it fails, then and I've done that. I've failed at things. I've passed at things. I think I'm learning in things. I mean, halal goods market was a let's try it and see.
it's really about failing forward. And what a great example you've proven in so many different hats that you wear and so many successes that you've had. Um, Having a book out there now and receiving the audience that I mean, it's not just now numbers and likes and comments. You're receiving the audiences, you're engaging audiences. What's the feedback been like since your book has been launched?
Listen, I can't speak for other people, but I can tell you this: it has been mind blowing on my side because when you speak to people, you're meeting the actual person who is commenting on your stuff, who's trying out your recipes. It has been the most heartwarming, the most incredible time. I will be honest, I did not realize I don't think you realize the number until you see people and people show up. And the most, like, the most, I want to say, the most humbling thing is seeing people show up for you. It's just, I've cried lots of tears on lots of launches, just going, I can't believe these people showed up for me. I can't believe these people showed up for me. And I think a lot of it comes from, it's an insecurity. You have your insecurities, and the biggest insecurity is whether people will show up for you, whether people will support you, whether people will go out there and buy this thing. And people, wowzers, they have been just amazing. I mean, I couldn't do it without the people's support. You can't do anything without that sort of thing. It's just, it's shown me a side of like people where it's not just lip service. It's not just, typing service. They literally, physically show up for you. Even if they're going up there and they're clicking buy or whatever, they are literally showing up for you. And I think that that has been the most humbling experience for me. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I still can't wrap my head around it sometimes when I go, oh, what? Like, aren't the people like, oh, is this for real? Is this for real? It's been mad.
Well, Mubarak to you, because I think that, authentically you show up. You present your passion in these different social media spaces. You've done workshops. Like I remember you started with those mocktail workshops back in the day as well. And you've really put yourself out there. This is your moment. I think people are just coming back and saying thank you for what you do. I don't even think you realize your impact until now. And Mubarak for that. I celebrate you. We celebrate you here on Book Bites.
I
Another
appreciate
question I have is, as a Muslim woman, now at the cusp of Ramadan, right? I mean, we do center our lives around prayer, but also as brown aunties, we're always considering food and how to feed the family. And
it.
let's talk a bit about food and Ramadan. This
Hmm.
kind of intersection of what it means to prepare and to be prepared for
Yeah.
Ramadan, but also to be able to carry the sustenance of your family forward. Give us some advice.
So I think that a lot of people kind of look at it as, I almost want to say, people shouldn't look at it as a stressful time, like the whole, I need to prepare, I need to have it done, I need to have this, I need to have 20 million things, I need to have so many things on the table. I think there's a lot that we can prepare beforehand. Some people are salusa people, some people are full meal people. We are a balance of both. We do some days where we love savory, some days where we love full meals. I think a lot of it comes down to a little bit of planning and a lot less stressing. I would like to say that if people would just like, I almost want to say, don't rush yourself. Take your time, think about what you want to do, but also don't forget that doing, like being in the kitchen and doing this is also an ibadah. It's also something you're doing for your family. So don't feel like I need to rush out of this and rush into something else. Give yourself grace, put on the dhikr, put on your machine, put on the Quran in the background, listen to a lecture by someone, and just cook in peace. And remember that part of this is also part of your sacrifice. Like having to cook is part of your fasting sacrifice, and you're doing it for your family. I think it's the most beautiful thing. And don't just do it for your family, do it for your neighbors, do it for everybody, call everybody over, you know but just enjoy the process. And also don't stress yourself out. If things don't work out today, it's okay, like chicken burgers, it's a meal. It's a meal. Toasted cheese, it's a meal. Our stomachs are getting so small in Ramadan. Like, don't stress about it. I think a big thing is just um look at or look at preparing the meal as part of your ibadah for your family, or and part of your sadaqah for your family. I mean, it's part of your service. It's beautiful. Keep your dhikr up and just enjoy the process. Don't stress yourself out. And if you want to, I mean, if you're already in Ramadan, so I would say, if you really want to and you feel unprepared, then take a weekend, take a day, put some marinades together, and pop the stuff into the freezer. But I'll be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with making an easy meal in Ramadan. Do the easy meal, keep yourself chill.
That's such a beautiful reflection. I think that a lot of our women take pressure, around that. And the idea that cooking is ibadah, providing sustenance for your family is ibadah is such a beautiful thing through this month.
Hmm.
And not having the pressure and just going with it. I know that we're due for an ad break, so we're going to let them go through with that. And we're going to come back and hear more about this incredible book that you've put out there and the process around it, inshallah.
I
I'll
mean,
let you take us through that break.
Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
With Ashraful Eid this Ramadan, your zakat changes lives. It feeds families facing hunger, restores dignity to those in need, and brings hope. From food relief to essential support, your zakah reaches communities with care, transparency, and impact. Give with confidence, give with trust. Make your zakah count this Ramadan. Give your zakah to Ashraful Aid. Help change lives today.
Dad, these Frymax chips are so tasty. Wow, that really takes me back. My dad bought me a Frymax chips every day after school. They were my favorite when I was your age as well. Quality is at the very heart of what we do, and that's why we ensure that every Frymax packet is filled with the beautiful goodness and flavor-packed taste that you've come to expect from us since 1982. Frymax, from generation to generation.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
In a world divided by crisis and detachment, let Ramadan reconnect us. Join Africa Muslims Agency to feed the fasting across the world. Donate an iftar box for 140 Rand, a monthly food hamper for 1,900 Rand, or feed a community for 20,000 Rand per day. From Gaza to Mozambique to Syria and more, every meal creates a connection between human hearts and the divine. This Ramadan, nourish bodies and reconnect souls with Africa Muslims Agency. You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Welcome back. We're on Book Bites, Ramadan edition, episode 1, and we're speaking to the wonderful Fehmz about damn good food. We're nourishing souls and we're nourishing bodies this month, and we're also talking about the incredible opportunity we have to think back, bring back the memories of what we make associations with food and taste. Fehmz, tell us about some of your childhood memories of your favorite foods and what you think those memories conjure for you and how you reenact them. Because I know through your book, you also pay tribute to some of the inspiration you got for these recipes. Let's chat a bit about your past, your memories, your childhood, and what food means.
You know, the funny thing is when I think about my childhood, I think about a lot of laughter and happiness and family. It's always full. My granny's home would always be full of people. So my dad would sometimes like he would pack us up into the car on a Friday night, and I laugh and say I didn't understand why it was a Friday night. Why were we always driving at night? But now as I grow older, I realize because he had a job. So after his job, he would pack us in the car and he would say, right, let's go to Durban. My grandparents actually lived in Pietermaritzburg, and we would arrive there probably late at night, and I knew I would always wake up in the morning to laughter. And it would be the laughter of my mum and her sisters and my granny around the kitchen, well, sorry, around the dining table. It's loaded with food, but they would be laughing and catching up and talking, and it was the best moment. I remember my granny would always be busy in the kitchen making up something fresh. My granny was very much a make everything from scratch kind of person, and mince curry and roti with eggs and freshly brewed tea for breakfast would be, I think, one of my best memories. Like it was amazing. And I know whenever we were at my granny's house, we'd always be eating something or making something, or she'd be rolling fresh rotis in that kitchen. And she had this, you know, when you think of your old school kitchens, it was that old a vinyl table with those vinyl chairs, you know, that those vinyl print chairs, And I always remember that is what the home that is home was like, you know. You come back here and you could smell in the air. It wasn't just food, it was love. For me, those are the best childhood memories. And my aunts all carried that through to their home. I don't think there's an aunt I've been to that I haven't sat, eaten, learned a recipe from. And also, they've always been, and my mom too, they've always been most open about sharing how to make something. If I message somebody, I mean, now and again, quantities are a bit of a problem, you know, like Mr. Martha's olive fry, but she would never not share how to make the recipe. And I think for me, that was beautiful about my family, that they would always be so open in sharing every recipe and how to make things. And even when they try something new, like I think it's almost carried on to the children because my cousin actually was the one who first pushed me to try out the easy milk tart. I mean, she was, and that's my Masi's daughter. Like, she was, oh, try this recipe, it's amazing, you know, and we would fiddle with it and try something and go there and it was normal in our family to try recipes out to better them to I mean to love them as is also. My aunt's coconut pudding is just so lekker, guys, so lekker. But I remember being a kid going to visit her in a flat above Deluxe Fabrics in Peter Maritz, but I think it was called AEL Building or something like that. And I remember the first time I had it. That's how like some of my childhood memories are kind of the first time I've had something. And that coconut pudding was, I think the first time I had it was probably when I was like 9 or 10. And I remember that day. I remember that time in her little flat that I tasted that pudding and I loved it forever. You know, and that's a recipe that's in my book, and I will always pay tribute to the fact that that recipe came from my Nazis. And we raised by our village, right? My mom had this amazing friend, Auntie Pinky, who made the most delicious fish, like Auntie Pinky's fish and rice, which is the stuff like you dream about still, right? And most of those recipes are from my childhood, it's things we grow up with. And some of the recipes, as we moved through the book, was as I grew, as I changed, as my flavors changed, as you know, I had kids, and um, some of it though, they stay true since your childhood. You know. I hope I answered your question because I don't know if I answered that correctly.
No, it's fantastic because I especially appreciate that, there's the celebration of womanhood, of sisterhood, because essentially you're from this bubble of Masi's, granny, mom, sister, and then everyone, it's a microcosm of what so many women can identify with and can identify through your book. Your book might be a cookbook, but it's a kind of a living memoir in some way, a food memoir in a way. And I really love how that is encapsulated. While you're talking, please hold up a copy because I don't have my copy with me.
I'm gonna
So
pull it
we
here
can,
from the back. Can you see the problem here? I've got a few copies sitting on the shelf
okay,
here.
fantastic.
I'm gonna
Everyone's got
pull
a
a
copy by
copy.
now.
I'm gonna
Everyone's
pull
got a
one of
copy
my
by now.
copies.
And if they don't have a copy, they need to go out and get one. Excellent. Excellent. That's our media
Yes,
moment.
this is
Um,
like
and I think
this is
precisely this, right? I think you've given voice and visual to how women actually encapsulate this idea of living through food and sustenance and
absolutely.
nourishment and what it means. And I know that many of our brothers and our fathers are cooking as well. But let's just
Yes,
take this moment.
I have my dad's recipe in here, and it comes from Uncle Imran Waja, where he used to cook the stuff. It's not a recipe book. I don't want to say it's a recipe book for women. It's a recipe book for people who want to cook. It's anybody. It's a teen. It's a man. It's your husband. It's anybody who just wants to make good food. And I want it to be. Always wanted it to be that kind of thing. That it needs to be a book for everyone.
And it's important also to note that it's a universal book. It's very, very accessible. It's not like your
Yes,
typical Indian cookbook, although there's nothing wrong with those kind of genres. And I love how you're able to have this fusion across the board, and that's what makes your work
yes.
so accessible.
And one of the big things I wanted to say about the book is that it's even though it's a tribute, there's so many parts of it because it's a whole family section. It's a tribute to the people who raised me, but also um, some of the big things that I wanted to do in this kind of thing was that I wanted to make recipes where you wouldn't struggle to find ingredients. Chili powder is chili powder across the world. If you decide you want to use Kashmiri chili powder, and somebody else is like, no, 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 chili powder is not my thing for me. I'm gonna do paprika or I'm going to do cayenne. I'm into cayenne or something. I want everyone to know straight up these recipes are so adaptable. make them swap a protein, do whatever you like, but make them yours. Look inside there and say, wait a minute, I can't do, coriander. Leave that little bit of coriander, not in the okay though. You need coriander, you need the coriander spice in the okay. But I mean, like in certain things, if you feel like, listen, this I can't do this. What can I swap it out for? And do it. Have fun with it. If you are lactose intolerant and you go, listen, I can't really do fish cream, coconut cream it, coconut milk it, do those things. Or if you're on a health kick and you're like, I need to reduce something on this side and do it on that side, go for it. Do the things. I always say, make these recipes yours. The biggest thing that I want is for you to take the book, use it, make the recipe yours, do everything you want to do with it. And I don't know, write in the book, miss the book, buy another book, do all the things.
Okay, let me ask you some off the wall kind of questions, right?
Okay.
Rotis, square or round?
I'm so sorry. I'm team round. I'm so team round. It's only because my mother taught me how to roll to the middle and pull to the side, and then the roti turns itself. But I am all for it. Doesn't matter what shape your roti looks like. It matters whether it tastes good.
So, what's your ultimate sort of advice to somebody who needs to make the perfect round roti?
The pot lids, they work brilliantly. Just works
That is
like
a
a
signature
bomb.
Fehmz response.
Bam.
That is a signature
Okay?
Fehmz response.
I've done it, by the way. I've done that. My friend and I had to cook. My friend Fazana Peer, she and I had to cook for her mummy. If anybody knows the Peer residence in Lane, now they moved to Australia. But I remember her mother one day was like, "You guys better have food," because you see, these mothers they catch on with each other. So she's like, "You better have food." And Fazana and I were like, "Oh, we need to make rotis." We took that potluck. We cut those rotis round. They were the most beautiful rotis we ever made in our life.
I
Perfectly
really,
round.
really appreciate always how food brings us back to the past, and there's just so much of joy enacted in that. All of our weddings, I remember the old days where we used to be, sit with those dresser tables, and in the week there was wedding preparation. Let's talk something about preparation back in the day and food and community. That's the thing. Let's talk about some of those memories.
So for me, I think that I love the idea of us getting together to cook together to do things. The idea of cooking for weddings when it's functions like that whole week function thing. My dad used to be this guy who used to go, listen, we are going to even dish out. Like you guys need to dish out, take the food to the table. There's no waiters. This is during the week at your house. We need people in the pots. My dad even used to be in the pots at weddings with that. When people serve from the side plate and they use the side plate to dish out onto the platters. That's what he used to do. He used to be the side plate guy, holding the side plate to dish out biryani and acne and all of those things. I would love. I think we still do it now. I think COVID probably affected a little bit of like the way people do things, and it's fabulous to use caterers and stuff. But sometimes also it's just nice to get all the aunties together and do the things in your house and enjoy the process. I think a lot of time the reason why people change it is because they stress out. And I think if you don't stress and you just choose to enjoy the process, it's okay. We should do it more. In fact, Uncle Imran's green chicken that he taught my dad, because dad's green chicken is in this book. That came from them, Uncle Imran and his wife, cooking for us for during the week of my sister's wedding. And that's when we tasted that recipe for the first time and we were just obsessed. So there's those things that you can learn. And you know what I love is they didn't go, no, we're not sharing this recipe with anybody because, we make it to cook for people. They were never those people. And it's the same thing with my auntie's soji recipe. That's a wedding soji recipe from a person who cooks for a wedding and had no problem sharing the recipe and going, there you go. Because I mean, that's how tawakkul is, right? I mean, I can share what I want, but Allah's going to give me, I put my effort out there and whatever's going to come back, my risk is going to be there. It's all going to be there. And I think a lot of times now we kind of we hold back. Don't hold back, guys. Do it. I made the soji for my friend Tasneem Jacob's wedding. I was like, I'm making soji for your wedding. And we made it. It was like, I think, 60 people or something. Um, don't be intimidated by it. Just try it out. Like my mom said, you've got to do it the first time and then see.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. And I think it's a way of giving a gift. when you cook and you actually present this as a wedding present. Let's go for another ad break. We're going to come back and talk all things Eid, but let them have a way to pay the bills.
Okay.
And warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Use the black seed, for indeed it is a cure for every disease except death." This Ramadan, honor that guidance. Tib Black Seed supports your blood sugar during fasting, boosts immunity, sustains your energy from suhoor to iftar. Available at leading pharmacies. Tib Black Seed, your golden drop every day.
Elite Basmati, available throughout the Middle East, and now for the very first time exclusive to South Africa, brought to you by Murchison Spice, Pietermaritzburg's most famous specialty store. Elite Basmati, available in aromatic white and golden cellar, is packaged in a world-class facility in India and is filled with wholesome goodness for your well-being. Elite Basmati rice by Murchison Spice. For trade inquiries, contact Mohammed on 033 387 2121. Murchison Spice.
Across Sudan, starvation is tightening its grip. With rising food prices and widespread malnutrition, 8.7 million people are now facing emergency or famine-level hunger. As the conflict intensifies and aid routes narrow, families in Sudan are running out of options and time. The Al Imdad Foundation is delivering life-saving humanitarian aid to those most at risk. Stand with Sudan. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Welcome back to BookBytes. We're speaking to Fehmz about her new publication, Damn Good Food, and really getting to pick her brain about the process and the memories around food. I know we're going through Ramadan and we're taking it day by day, and we're building on a process of reflecting around how we nourish ourselves. Maybe you'd say it's a bit too early to talk about Eid, but I mean, we're all thinking it already, right? Let's talk about preparing for Eid and what Eid means in terms of sharing. What are we going to see on your Eid table this year?
Yo, guy, and listen, it is a bit early. It is a bit early, but I'll be very honest. I don't think I've thought that far, but I think the biggest thing for me is just, I love the celebration. I love the idea of celebration. And this year, it's kind of extra special because MK, my husband's niece, she reverted to Islam earlier this year. So this is her first Ramadan. This is her first time fasting. It's going to be her very first Eid. So I think we're all going to make it extra special because it's such a beautiful moment. Like it's such an incredible thing to celebrate. So he's been spending some days with us. Hopefully, a lot of days with us inshallah this Ramadan. We're hoping that she's here for the full Ramadan with us. Um, or she doesn't get tired of me and my kids and run away back to her flat. But we're very excited. So I think the big thing for us is the sweet stuff, right? We always go bigger on Eid. So I have some ideas, but I'll be very honest with you. I haven't got anything down of what exactly we are going to prepare for Eid. I do have a few recipes coming out, a few things coming out that's quite exciting. One of it is a layered ice cream cake because I think that we're not too cold, we're not too hot. It's like the perfect weather for ice cream. So it's a twist on a baklava, and yeah, I think that for me is going to be the nicest thing. And I think this year, maybe it's just me, but I feel like this year is kalia. I think this year instead of biryani, we need to do like a really nice kalia. So I think I might do that. I think I might share a little recipe on a nice kalia. It's been a while, and kalia used to be a big thing for us for Eid. So I think it'll be amazing because it's such a beautiful dish to make for a celebration. It's a Mughal, it comes from the Mughal era, so it's very rich and creamy and yogurty and stuff. So yeah, I think there's a lot to come from Eid. But let me be very honest, Eid planning, I'm not even there yet. Let's just do the.
You know,
We're all on the clothes though. We're already on the clothes, right? I'm already seeing stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks beautiful.
that's so amazing because I think on the one hand, there's this definite celebration and celebratory energy through the food that you present online, and I know that now we have something to look forward to, always something new to look forward to. So we definitely excited about that. I'm even going to kind of poke and prod and say there's definitely a new or a second version of Damn Good Food that will
Ah,
eventually come along. So no pressure there. But food is, as much as it's celebratory,
can we,
we also talk
yes.
about food as a form of comfort, right? So talk to us also about some of your comfort foods. What are the ideal comfort
Sure.
foods that carry us through Ramadan, through winter, through any
Yes.
time?
There's so many. But for me, Halim. Halim is like my thing. It's like Ramadan just makes me, you see Halim, you have a hot steaming bowl of Halim, and you just feel so good. Halim is such a thing for me. I love the idea of having a hot bowl, steaming bowl of Halim. And my husband and I don't have it, but me, it's hearty, it's filling, it makes your heart warm, it hugs you from the inside. Samosas do the same thing. For me, I'm like, we eat samosas all year round. I'm feeling sad fry samosa. But those kind of things, they're big for me. But I think with Ramadan, what we tend to do is we tend to have less of heavy rice dishes because you break fast at night. You don't want something too heavy on the stomach. So we tend to go with lighter meals. But having good meals, good gut meals, is important. And for me, that's why Halim for me is just it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate comfort Ramadan food. Like even Halim in winter. OMG, give me that Halim. I'm in it. I mean, it's got lentils, it's got everything. It's probably the healthiest, nicest soup you can have. Okay, and I love that you can do mutton, you can do chicken, you can do no meat, you can do all the things. It's that, and I'm a sucker, like I said, for the savory. One of the other things that I think is nice, and it comes from a newer, I think the newer side of the book is my kids really like a good pasta. So this Ramadan, I'm doing like the nice pasta, the pasta shells filled with chicken. Or tonight, actually, we're having prawn pasta for supper. So it's funny though. It's funny how like life changes. When you're a kid, it would never be that that would just be the meal. And now when I grow up and my kids want different things, our comfort food even just evolved. But nothing will ever take a lead on what to do.
Let's move beyond, the wholesome, the engaging, the authentic. You're also an entrepreneur in your own right. You're a businesswoman. Let's get some advice from you. Building your brand, wearing your brand, being authentic through your brand. Some advice for the budding entrepreneurs out there.
It's hard work. It's really, really, really hard work. Let me tell you something. If you enjoy it, it's the best kind of hard work you will do. I love the hard work more than anything. Let me take something. Let me base it around the book, right? If you see this book and you think, okay, right, so Fehmz has this book, and Fehmz spoken about this book, and this book is now like it's sitting in the bookstores and everything. Trust me, just about this book, once you do a book, the hard work that you think you just like, I'm just there, just gonna like, gonna print a book. Oh, very cool. I've never worked so hard. I think I worked hard to put this book together, but the amount of work you put once the book is out there, 3 times as much, 4 times as much, 10 times as much. You're working hard to promote things of your own all the time. You are working hard to make sure things work. You are working hard to make sure things are fixed. You are learning things along the way about things. Always be open to learning, to asking questions, and to letting people teach you what they are good at. And I think that's a big thing when you want to be an entrepreneur because there's a lot of things you're going to fail at and fail you will because it looks very interesting. Like, oh, Fehmz has a bird, Fehmz has marketing, Fehmz has all good stuff. But actually, Fehmz also had Fridgies and she failed dismally at Fridgies. And she had Mo Bound and she failed dismally at Mo Bound. And she's had lots of other businesses and I failed dismally at that. So nothing came off the back of just of me just being a overnight success. No, it came off the back of really, really hard work and failure. It came off the back of failure. And I think if you're an entrepreneur, you have to know that the amount of effort you put in is huge. And then you got to put that effort in and then have to work good for the outcome. You cannot control the outcome of that stuff. You can work hard for an outcome, but you have to also have trust in Allah. That trust in Allah, that tawakkul is so important. And every person should be an entrepreneur to really hone in their sense of tawakkul. Because once you're an entrepreneur, wow, guys, the du'as you will be making, the tawakkul you must be having is something else. And they say that like even Islamically, like if you really want to like if you wanted to work big, you must be an entrepreneur. But never be afraid of doing the hard work. Don't be afraid of doing the dirty things, the cleaning up, the sweeping up, the everything. If you want to be a true entrepreneur, you must know your business from the bottom to the top. You must be able to and not feel any ego towards sweeping a floor on top of sitting in a boardroom among other directors and among big players. You must be able to do both. And I think for that, you're not going to go wrong. Work hard, do the thing.
I'm so humbled to hear you speak about your process, especially as many of us have watched you from beginnings when you developed those recipes for those mocktails. You did the branding, you chose the packaging, you've got full distribution around the country and probably beyond it as well. I mean, it's so fantastic to watch your rise to success and know that maybe you've thrown sort of 10 coins in the fountain and you might have retrieved 2 of those in success. But it's fantastic to see how you've done so. Maybe even we'll get some entrepreneurship videos from you in the future or a book. But Mubarak to you for your perseverance, for your inspiration and your motivation to the rest of us who are, all trying and branding in our own way. And we wish you all the best with, with damn good food and the future. Any last bit of advice?
Don't hold yourself back. Try all the things, push yourself, speak to the right people. Anything's possible.
Jazakallah khair, Samira. It was an absolute
Bismillah
delight.
your way through everything. If I can say Bismillah your way through everything.
That should be a T-shirt or a hoodie or a scarf or something that you can wear. I love that.
Just
Absolutely. Shukran for your time and your expertise. We wish you everything of the best for the rest of Ramadan, for Eid, and thank you for the sharing that you do, because you really give your energy and your barakah through the sharing. May it return to you tenfold, inshallah. Once again, from the team, the rest of us, Jazakallah khair and Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ameen. Please remember me in your dua, inshallah.
Ameen. A real pleasure to have Fehmz Fehmz, brand name Fehmz, with damn good food. Please, if you haven't got the book, go out and get it, because it's a legacy in the making. And with that, we end this episode of Book Bites with special delight and duas for the rest of Ramadan. Until next weekend, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.